Newly commissioned officer will test their swords on the defeated Chinese soldiers. When you behead someone, you need to use a strong stroke, so you raise the sword high and bring it down with force. The head falls and blood flies straight up like a red pillar of fire. There's an officer I know who always bragged about killing people. He would tie the wrist and ankles with ropes so that a person to be beheaded wouldn't be able to stand or stretch his legs. Everyone copied his style.
他们都讲日本人来了，日本人杀人哎，就讲日本人杀人，杀光真的，杀光烧光抢光，还抢人家东西啊，烧人家房子啊，杀人家人啊，就很。
Tonight's news, none too good. Conditions look bad. Rumors and unrest. Word is the Japanese are approaching from 3 directions.
妈妈爸爸讲嘞，不得了嘞，这怎么搞的？没得路的走了，要死一起死在一块算了，就这样讲。要死就死到一块。
Over and over again, I am struck by the similarity of Jesus' Day and today in China. 3 other missionaries and I spent an hour and a half today trying to see what Christians can do in this present situation. Are we to stand by hopelessly, or is there something we can do? And if so, what?
Telegram we sent to the Japanese ambassador. An international committee composed of nationals of Denmark, Germany, Great Britain, and the United States desires to suggest to the Chinese and Japanese authorities the establishment of a safety zone for civilian refugees at or near Nanking. The committee would respectfully request a prompt reply from the Japanese authorities to this proposal.
We will bear tremendous responsibility if we first order the remaining populace of Nanking into the neutral zone and then later are turned down by the Japanese.
To our surprise, the big-hearted German who had elected chairman turned out to be the National Socialist leader here.
I continue to hope that Hitler will help us. He has deep sympathy not only for the distress of his own people, but for the anguish of the Chinese as well.
So now it turns out that the burden of work is to be carried out by a group of American missionaries and a group of German Nazi businessmen.
At 2:30, as I walked down Shanghai Road, again and again I met groups of women and children in search of the safety zone. I told them that it was not yet certain, but when it was, they would be notified. The safety zone is not yet assured.
Telegram to the United States Embassy. Japanese authorities have duly noted request for a safety zone, but regret cannot grant it.
According to radio reports, London regards this reply as a flat-out refusal. We are of a different opinion here. Their answer is cleverly couched in the diplomatic terms, leaving a backdoor open.
Virtually turned over to us administrative responsibilities for the zone, along with a police force of 450 men, 2,000 tons of rice, 10,000 bags of flour, and some salt.
Since Mayor Ma left Nanking yesterday, and since the committee is forced to deal with all the administrative problems and workings inside our safety zone, I have in face of this become something very like an acting mayor. Enough to give you a fit, Rob.
Japanese are now nearing the halfway mark from Shanghai, and we have already heard the rumble of big guns.
从哪里走来的时候，没得地方走。后来讲南京有难民区，国际党成立的难民区，进了难民区了嘛，好像就保险了，飞机不会轰炸了，就这个意思。
Thousands of refugees are fleeing into our so-called safety zone from all directions. The sight of the poorest of the poor wandering aimlessly in the streets is enough to make you weep. As it grows dark, some families unable to find shelter anywhere stretch out to sleep in nooks and alcoves of buildings or simply on the street, despite the cold. We are working feverishly to develop the zone.
到哪里 气呢，还有好消息，来给他们，来照应他们，来救他们，是吧？你只要到的美国的好消息那个地方去了，这欧盟跟我就好。
我们就在南面区，德国人跟翻译家，我们忍住了。他晚上呢，快黑了，风就打上了，地下铺的都黑掉，睡得刚才都着火。第二天早上，一个人一小碗米，吃不了。
Around us here, we now have thousands of poor people crowded into all the available buildings. But what happened to them is mere conjecture. The zone is all marked with flags and banners, and so far the Japanese have not bombed it. We still have hopes that even if they do not recognize it, they might respect it. If they do, it will mean the saving of thousands of lives of poor people. 5 air raids on Monday and 1 on Tuesday. I'm writing this during our 61st.
Tonight, the flames are lighting the sky above the whole southwest corner of the city. And in the afternoon, we have seen clouds of smoke rising in every direction, save northwest.
It is quite a sensation to be the only surgeon in a big, war-torn city. How can we leave the sick patients? Japs have now reached a point about 25 miles from the city. Gunfire could be heard. Won't be long now.
The city gates are to be closed tomorrow. I sent a telegram to Siemens today asking them to pay up any life insurance premiums that may be due. If I were to say I was not afraid, I'd be lying.
The swift Japanese advance on the national capital make the vicinity of Nanking a place of danger. The Nipponese invaders strike westward with incredible speed. The defenders bravely ignore a Japanese ultimatum, calling on them to surrender.
If you're getting the same sort of radio reports that we are, you are undoubtedly alarmed for our safety here. We're a little concerned ourselves. Today's air raid brings our tally to 114. Tally must come to a close as today was one long air raid from morning till night. I'm writing this to the tune of big guns just outside of the city. Japanese advance guards have reached the walls in several places.
Until about 1 p.m. December 10th. General Scudder and I had been waiting outside of Chansan Gate for the bearer of the flag of truce from the Chinese army. However, he never came. For that reason, from about 2 p.m., a general attack was commenced against Nanking.
Shells from Japanese guns commenced falling inside the city walls, and I went outside to watch them. They formed a perfect pattern, the explosions advancing in regular rows about 25 yards every half minute. They were coming from outside the south gate, directly towards me.
Uninterrupted artillery fire from Purple Mountain. Thunder and lightning around the hill. And suddenly the whole hill is in flames. An old adage says, when Purple Mountain burns, Nanking is lost.